You ever got off your bike after a long ride and felt like you just lost the UFC fight with a brick wall? I've been there, I get it. So today we're gonna be digging into DIY comfort hacks to make your motorcycle feel less like a torture rack and more like a lazy boy on two wheels, using stuff you probably already have laying around the house. Now, this is gonna be cheap, easy, rider tested, and booty approved. Yeah. If you ride often, or if you've just been on the road long enough to say there's gotta be a better way, this video is for you. Hit that subscribe button if you're into motorcycle hacks, dark humor, and a little bit of wholesome chaos. And if you've gotten any value or laugh from this video, please toss me a like and drop a weird hack of your own in the comments. I read all of them, even the trolls. Now, welcome to Rider Rot. Let's get to it. So the first one is going to be your seat. Now, we know there are a billion different seats out there nowadays for all different fits and sizes and things like that. Now, I run a Saddleman. I'm about to run a Lepera. You know, these seats aren't necessarily made for long distance riding, but there are ways to get comfy. So this is one of the blow up pads. They have these things on Amazon for like 20 bucks or even less than that. If you don't have that, I have chunks of foam from like exhaust or something that I bought in the past or something. I can't remember. Cut a piece of this up. If you're going on a long distance ride, it doesn't matter how cool you look. It's all about being comfortable and making the ride and getting to where you got to get. Another great option is a yoga mat. I know that might sound funny. Don't use your wife's Lululemon $700 yoga mat unless you want to deal with the consequences. But get you a cheap yoga mat, cut it up. I mean, you throw it underneath your butt. There's a ton of other options out there. If you have a hack on how to get your seat comfy too, throw those down in the comments. Go to the next one. Now, this next one is one that I wouldn't recommend for every rider out there. You got to have some common sense with it. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have that. I'm not saying that's you. I'm just saying you know someone like that. If you don't have cruise control on your bike and you are on a long trip, I don't ever like to use the throttle adjustments on the bottom here where you can tighten them up because then your throttle is stuck there. What I've seen guys do is take some double-sided tape, run it around the outside of your grip here or the inside, depending on where you want your hand at on your grip. You're gonna have obviously the sticky side out being double-sided tape. So when you run down the road, instead of having to grip that throttle really hard, take your hand, roll it back, and with the hand being sticky, it's going to kind of hold that throttle in place for you without having to grip onto that grip and worry about twisting as much as you do, especially on a long ride. So we're not talking about just popping around town. We're talking long distance. This is just another way to keep your hand from getting less fatigued, which in return will get you to your destination a lot quicker without having to shake it out. Double-sided tape. That didn't work out like I thought. So this next one you might think is a kind of goofy thing, but if you've been in this situation, you know what I'm talking about. You're running down the highway and you're like 6 hours into this ride and your hands start to go numb. It happens. The vibration from the bars, especially if you have an older twin cam, can kind of wear you out. And this is a trick that I learned from an old guy back in the day. Take you a sock, and I know this might sound funny. I'm telling you, it's gonna sound funny, it's gonna look funny. But again, it's not about looks, it's about getting to where you gotta get. Take you a sock, roll it up as many times as you want, and all that's going to do is create a little bit more barrier between your hand and that vibration, and it's going to knock that vibration down a little bit on your hand, so you're not going to have to keep shaking them out. I know it looks funny, but again, it's about getting to your destination. Make sure they're clean. Now picture this, you're on a road trip, rain starts to come down, you guys pull off the side of the road, you run in, find you a little dive bar, go grab you a beer or water, whatever, be safe. Rain stops. You go out to your bikes, wipe them down, you take a towel, you wipe your seat down, don't put your rain gear on because it's dry, and then next thing you know, as soon as you set on it, your butt's soaking wet. It happens. Some of these seats absorb water. It is what it is. So carrying a little trash bag for like a kitchen trash can or whatever, doesn't matter. I mean, if anything and you need to throw something away, you have a bag to do it. And second, if your seat gets soaking wet before it rains, you can throw this over the seat, or if your seat's already wet and you don't want to get your butt wet, throw this over your seat and it'll keep your butt dry. Then you don't have to walk around like a soggy bottom. Gross. Not a good feeling. Trash bag. Next up, we have a helmet hack. Now, even if you have a really nice $2,000 helmet, in time, if you're running down the road, your top of your head can start to itch and start to hurt and get weird. And depending on how much comfort and how much room you got up on top of your noggin here, what I like to do is the bag that your helmet actually comes in, take this, put it up underneath the helmet liner, gives you a little bit more cushion for the pushing, if you know what I mean. or fiber towel, rag, stuff it up in there. All it's gonna do is separate that little amount of space that's up here. And instead of bouncing up and down on your head after time and kind of wearing the top of your head out, you have a little bit more cushion up top here to knock a little bit of that off for you. Now again, it all depends on helmets and sizes and the way your head's shaped and all that good stuff like that. But I've figured out this is a really cool way, an easy way to alleviate some of that pain, especially if you're, running down the road. Yeah, on to the next one. All right, so this next one is gonna be for the old lady, for the wife, whatever you wanna call it. Even if you have your standard pad on your backrest, on longer rides, even if they're a smaller woman, these bars can start pinching in their back. So take a pool noodle. This is some old wrapping off a set of bars that I bought in the past. As long as it's nice and squishy and go around the frame of the backrest itself, that will keep her from getting pinched in the back here, especially on a longer ride if you got a different style seat that pushes you back a little bit farther. I've seen guys, even if you're just running your standard sissy bar without a pad, like on a chopper and stuff like that, run pool noodles on their backrest too, just to keep their significant other comfy so you guys can keep riding without having to stop every 10 minutes. Now with the warmer weather setting in, especially where I'm at in Indiana, staying cool on longer rides, especially if you're out west, you're riding in those hotter climates, staying cool on your bike is hard because the bike gets hot, especially if sun's beating down on you. If you're in the middle of the desert, I've talked about this before in prior videos. Getting either like a neck gaiter, getting it wet, just having that wind hit wetness is gonna cool you down. Along with that, getting those towels that you get wet and you snap and they get cold. Taking a thing of ice, if you have risers or apes or whatever, get a little bag of ice, strap it onto the bars because that wind blowing is gonna blow that cold air from that ice onto your face, cool you down. It's really important to stay cool because overheating on your bike is not a good thing. I know you've been there. Or if you haven't been there, don't go there. Now, this next one would make my mom's Avon lady very proud of me, and that is Chapstick. I know, this might sound funny. Yes, obviously keep some Chapstick on your bike in time. If the wind's hitting your face, if you have a half helmet on, you don't have a helmet on, whatever the case may be, your lips can get chapped. Along with that, Chapstick is actually really good for lube. And I don't mean it that type of lube. I'm talking lube as in like lubing up things on your bike. If you got a saddlebag latch that's squeaky, rub some Chapstick on it. I mean, it's not going to cure all, but at the end of the day, this will act as a lube for things you need on your bike. If you're having issues with getting your floorboards up and down, depending on what bike you got, latches and things like that, Chapstick will help in a pinch if you need it. And for the comfort side of things, your Chapstick, keep your lips from getting chapped up. Now, there's a ton of different style crash bars, rear saddlebag guards, whatever you want to call them, for your bikes. A lot of guys are running this style bar now, even with your standard one that would wrap around the side here. If you have a passenger on the back, in time, depending, they can have their leg be rubbing on the back of this, depending on what you're running. Now, just like earlier, bar pad, pool noodle, wrap it around there. It's gonna leave a little bit of extra cushion for the pushing for your passengers, so you don't have to hear about them rubbing their leg on that and it hurting. Now, something that a lot of people don't think about and they're really proud of when they get off a long ride is their sunburn. Sunscreen, guys. I know this is pretty common sense, but having sunscreen on your bike, if you're on a long distance ride, even if it's cloudy, you still get fried. And the worst thing is if, say, you're going on a trip and you got a lot of stuff planned once you get there and you don't put any of this on and you get burnt, you're not going to enjoy that very much. So get you some sunscreen, depending on if you ride with jacket, whatever the case may be. They got the UV shirts, like the fishing shirts you can throw on. They're really thin, that are cool, that aren't going to be too hot for you. That's going to keep you from getting burnt. So yeah, always remember, sun will hurt your skin. Protect yourself. And there you go. There's some comfort hacks you can pull off with household junk, garage scraps, or even just a single trip to the Dollar Tree. Your spine, wrists, and your butt cheeks are going to thank you later. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more hacks, ride gear, an occasional dose of sarcasm. And I got a trip coming up going down to Tennessee. I'll be vlogging the whole thing, so I'm going to take you guys with me. Comment below what your weirdest or most genius comfort hack is. I might just steal it for the next video. Ride safe, ride smart, and don't forget, comfort doesn't have to cost your entire paycheck. Thanks for coming to hang out at Ride or Rock, guys. Keep your rub upside down, go out and ride your motorcycle. Later.